Right? Good morning.
Morning.
Probably wondering, what was that all about? Is there a quiz on that? No, not a quiz. Doing okay today?
All is well, sir.
Outstanding. Okay. In case you remember, I said on Tuesday, our first day, at least once a week, I start out class with a motivational video. Just like that. I'm all about inspiration. I'm all about helping you guys to be the best version of yourself as you possibly can. Now, we'll use anything to help make that happen or to support that. That includes what we teach and what we learn about psychology, but also even in video form. That video is kind of cool. I don't know, we don't usually discuss the videos unless you guys want to, but that is clearly about focus and not allowing yourself to be distracted as you move toward whatever goal in life you're trying to obtain. So, I only show the video to keep you guys motivated and inspired. And that's why I do these once a week. Personally, I haven't done it lately, but sometimes at night, when I'm in bed, I take my little Kindle, I go to YouTube, and I put in my headset because I don't want to wake up my wife, and I will watch those videos before I go to bed. Because what you feed your mind is important, just like what you feed your body. You feed your body unhealthy stuff, fatty food, high sugary food, your body isn't going to work as effectively as it should. If you feed your mind stuff that is useless, that doesn't help you, your mind isn't going to function as well as it should be. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I'm sure some of you go to bed just scrolling through TikTok, looking at cat videos or cats juggling or whatever. Just not really doing anything. That's not really feeding you. So, this is your choice, this is your life. You make the decisions, but just know that the decisions you make now are going to affect your future. They're going to affect your tomorrow, your next week, your next month, your next year, and maybe even your life. Every minute counts, because none of us know how long we're going to be here. None of us. All right. So, now, since this is day 2, anybody, before I start, anybody else, anybody in here for the first time? You were not here on Tuesday. Great. All right. So typically, class starts out, if I don't show a video, I always give announcements. These are just little things I need you to be aware of, little reminders. And sometimes I do the reminders at the end of class too, for people who may have come a little late. I also will preview what we'll be doing later on in the class. So, for example, the no-show assignment is due, this is the first reminder for you, the no-show assignment is due by Monday, August 25th at 11:59 p.m. So make sure you get that done. So that tells the school that you have come to class, went into the system. The no-show assignment is just a true-false question. It takes seconds to knock that out. Okay. Now, what else do I need to let you know? Oh, your first quiz for chapter 1. Here's another reminder. That quiz is due September the 2nd, also by 11:59 p.m. If you miss the deadline, if you forget, I can't have an email here. I used to be able to. Sometimes I could maybe extend the due date, but they don't want us doing that. So, try to get that done. Okay. Now, what are we going to do today? Well, today we're going to start with chapter 1, the introduction to psychology. And hopefully we're going to have some talking, some back and forth. And so in chapter 1, this is going to include the different types or fields that exist in the world of psychology. We're going to look at some of the origins of how the heck did psychology begin in the first place? Like, what happened? Like, how did people decide to start studying the mind and how it works? And we're also going to be looking at some of the people who work in the field of mental health, such as myself. All right? Let's see. Is there anything I should need to know? Nope, I think that's it. So now, let's close this down. And let's begin this class and this chapter. By the way, in case some of you like a physical book, because I know you guys have an e-book, this is what the book looks like. Essentials of Understanding Psychology. McGraw Hill. Some of us like to turn pages in books instead of just reading them. So, yes, ma'am.
Where are you? Are you somewhere through Blackboard or
No,
or something?
this is strictly my PowerPoint slides.
So we can't see them on our, in our.
No, you can't
Okay.
see this. So there's no way to find this.
The bookstore has been so packed out.
I gotta tell you, somebody, one of your classmates, I forgot who it was, they were like, the line is going down the hall.
Out of the building.
Let me just tell you, I've been here, not I've been here 8 years, I've actually been here 11 years. I have never, ever heard of the line going out into the hall, ever. So, but that's probably because we have more students.
They
here.
have the book, it's just been very hard to get to it.
I understand, I'm
Okay.
sorry about that. But like, you have the ebook in the meantime. You have the ebook, so yeah, but this is
You
what.
have ebook?
Oh, because you came a little late, you don't need to buy this book. You already, and when you enrolled in this class, in your tuition, you paid for the e-version of the book. So all you need to do, to do a sidetrack real quick. You go to your Blackboard page. Please make sure you do, if you go to start here, make sure you do this no-show assignment, right here. See this no-show assignment? Make sure you do that. That's a true-false question. That shows you signed up for the class.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
the notes on the resources, I clicked on, but nothing's available on.
Yeah, there's nothing, there really are no resources. The textbook is really the only resource you need.
Yeah, we clicked on that. It's no
No,
go
there's
either.
nothing there. There's nothing. And you go to lessons, and then when you go to chapter 1, click here. This is chapter 1. This is just one of the ways to access the book. Launch assignment. And the book will come up right here. Here's the book, that's the first page. And you go and click the little next, chapter 2. And then at some point, when I mentioned the quizzes that have to be done,
Is the book available every time, but not
the book
the?
is, you have the ebook, you have the book online, whenever you want to access it. When you're ready to answer the questions, you go here, you have to answer 15 questions.
But after the past due date, the questions won't be available with the book,
If
guys.
okay, that's an important question. Excuse me, gentlemen. Excuse me, guys, I want to make sure everybody can hear what I'm saying. Thank you. If you miss a due date, I'm going to answer your question. You can still probably answer the questions, but you're not going to get credit. Because some people think, well, I'm going to go ahead and it's late, but I'm going to answer them anyway. You can do that, but it's not going to show up. Sorry.
How did you get to those questions?
When you get, so I'm gonna hit exit. Close. Exit. All the way back here. Always look for the red McGraw-Hill box. So like for chapter 2, lesson 2. I'm always gonna look for the red McGraw-Hill box. When you click on that box, it's gonna say launch assignment. Just click launch assignment. And you're there. Chapter 2. If you have any issues finding stuff, you can always talk to me after class. Or if you have a helpful classmate, that'll work too. We can get it done. All right. Any other questions about textbook? Yes, sir.
So pretty much on my laptop, it's saying content isn't available, and I did the no-show.
You said what?
It says no content is available, and I did the no-show quiz.
How could content?
Refresh.
Refresh.
Okay. Nothing like a helpful classmate. Has anybody else had a problem getting in? Oh, okay. They try to make this stuff as easy as possible. To be honest with you, I'll tell you a secret. I think the textbook companies, they're very smart. See, back when I was in school, people would buy the textbooks or get it used and then sell it back to the school. And or some people, I even tried it myself, to try to get through the semester without buying the book at all, because maybe I didn't have the book. But what the textbook companies and the institutions have discovered, you know what? We'll just do an ebook. And with the ebook, they will have to answer questions to get a credit. So now everybody is forced to pay for the ebook. Really kind of weird, actually. All right, we all set?
Yes.
Let me ask you guys a few questions. Okay, introduction to psychology. This is just gonna be like, show of hands. Okay, how many of you think that most people are aggressive and selfish by nature? Like, we're just born naturally selfish and aggressive. Come on, let's fight.
You have to be to survive.
Show up your hands if you think we're naturally, no, that's fine. If we're naturally born selfish and aggressive by nature. Show of hands, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3.
People are aggressive.
Okay, interesting, okay. What's your name again? Amy, no, you?
Amy?
Amy, that's what I thought. Amy, why do you were saying, why do you think we're naturally born aggressive and selfish?
Maybe not aggressive, but selfish. You have to be to survive. Yeah, we're here for our family and friends, but I have to survive myself first if I want to be there for my family and friends.
Very
I
valid
have to
point.
come first.
Can't debate you on that. How can I debate you on that? If you can't live and take care of you, how you gonna take care of anybody else? Okay, who thinks we are not born aggressive or selfish? Okay, what's your name?
Diego.
Diego, why do you think we are not born aggressive or selfish?
I believe that behavior is something that you develop as things happen to you as you grow up. So if nothing happens to you because you were just born, you don't really have a set nature to live by.
So you're saying it's based upon what happens to you that makes you this way? I can't disagree with that either. These are two very strong, valid points. Let's go to the next question. Show of hands. Who thinks most people are striving to be the best person they can be? Show of hands. If you think everybody's just striving, that's funny. Okay. In the rear, what is your name?
Sydney.
Sydney, why do you think people are striving to be the best they can?
Because when you're the best person that you can be, that things go your way and life is much easier than making it harder on yourself and everything else around you.
Yeah, that is exactly what people should probably be trying to do. Now, who thinks that people are not striving to be the best they can? Okay, why do you think that's not true? Why they're not striving to be the best?
Just simply because, I don't know, I feel like some people are just, I say like brainwashed.
Please explain.
Because it's like some people are like conditioned to think a certain way. Like they think, like they don't know that they can be the best that they can be. Some people are conditioned to think like messed up, you know what I'm saying? To think that they're trash or to hate themselves or
I like where you're going,
something like that.
but I do have a follow-up question for you. This is no judgment, I'm just curious. Who or how are we being conditioned? You said we're being-
Just
you
the
said we're being-
circumstances, their conditions, their influence around them, could be their parents, could be
Parents do
anything.
play a big role.
Yeah, be anything.
Very good. Last question. Who thinks we're just born a blank slate and we can go either way? Who think we just go either way? All right. The reason why I ask you these questions, in some ways, these are things that come up in the world of psychology. These are things researchers, scientists, psychologists have tried to figure out. Are we born a certain way or are we not? That's what psychology is always, the whole thing is about. Trying to figure out why people are the way they are, why they do what they do. That's what psychology is all about. It's trying to answer these questions. Now, let's first talk about some of the things we'll be discussing in this chapter. The science of psychology, the different fields, because there's different psychological fields, the origins of psychology. We're going to look at 5 major perspectives. there's 5 major, I don't know why you have it. But anyway,
Atomic buildings.
just so you know, I told you guys, I want you to be critical thinkers. Think for yourself. If you disagree with me, feel free to let me know. You don't have to believe everything I say. If you disagree with the book, feel free to disagree with the textbook. Because I got to tell you right now, there's some stuff in the textbook I don't agree with. I may even point it out. I'm just saying.
That's
So we're going to talk about the 5 major, they identify 5 major perspectives that people use in the world of psychology to understand individuals. We're going to talk about research in psychology and ethics of research. Okay, let's first write down. Now remember, I said on the PowerPoint slide, there's going to be things that are underlined. And the thing that is underlined is what will be on the test. If it's not underlined, you don't have to worry about writing down anything else than that's it. So your first test is a 40-question multiple choice exam. I promise you that that will be one of the questions. The question will say something like, the term psychology is defined as A, B, C, or D. I'm literally going to be giving you the answers or teaching you the exam. So that's why half of this classroom is going to get an A. I can almost, or at least a third of the classroom is going to get an A minimum. At least a third, because it happens all the time. So but we need to define, if we're studying psychology, we need to define, determine what it is. I'll give you a moment to write that down. Very simple, basic, short sentence. And as I also said on Tuesday, feel free to take pictures of slides if you like. I don't have an issue with that. Also, while you guys are writing it down, I'm going to pass out the sign-in sheet. Just let it circulate around. Everybody here, did you sign?
Yes.
Who didn't? You just pass it around. This will come to the back. So just see who had the sign. Just pass it around. I usually let them fly around. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, still doing it.
Using
What was that?
I still feel that the content isn't available. Yeah, and I did a no-show quiz already, my first battle, so.
Let me. Do you have somewhere to go after this class?
Nah, not right now.
Okay, good. So after this class, then let's check. Okay. Let me see what's going on. Yes, sir. Let me take care of that for you. Hold on to that pen yourself. Gift from Psychology 1010. All right, psychology. It is defined as the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Let me make that even simpler. Psychology is studying how people behave, and it's not just people, it's even animals too. How people behave. Anybody see the sign sheet? Raise your hand. That's what it is. So it's the study of how people behave, and it's also the study of how people think. Mental processes is how people think. It also includes people's beliefs, how they feel about certain things. So that's basically what psychology is. Now, you don't need to write any of this down. I'm just going to let you know, psychology is so detailed in today's world that there are specific branches of psychology that focus on certain areas exclusively. Example, experimental psychology. That's all about the senses and observing how the senses work and how people think about the world. Cognitive psychology is definitely how we think. Developmental psychology studies how people evolve throughout their life, from a child to a senior citizen. Personality psychology looks at personalities. Health psychology looks at the relationship between our physical health and our mental and emotional health. Clinical psychology or counseling psychology is the realm I work in as a marriage and family therapist. There's social psychology, which focuses on how society influences our behavior or how we think. And so it's all these different branches of psychology. Evolutionary psychology, that uses Darwin and the theory of evolution. So there's that. Now, when it comes to mental health professionals, where do they work at? People who went to school, got a master's degree in psychology, what type of stuff do they do? Yes, there are those like me who are a counselor or therapist. People come to them with their problems and they do therapy sessions. But a lot of mental health professionals also work in areas like institutions of higher learning, meaning colleges. Some therapists work in hospitals, they work in clinics. Some psychologists or mental health professionals work in government or human services. Some work in businesses, schools, prisons, the military, Department of Homeland Security. Myself, right now, I have my own private practice office. But I've also worked doing school-based therapy, where I was part of a program in Cobb County where therapists were embedded into the school. So I had 2 elementary schools that I saw kids. I went to the school, and then my home-based high school was Kennesaw Mountain. That was my home-based high school. I also worked in a facility, in a day treatment facility. A day treatment facility is where kids with really severe behavior or mental health issues, they came after school every day to our program. There's literally vans that went to their school, brought them to our site, and they did group stuff. I did group therapy with them, but they also got individual therapy. They got a snack, but these kids had some challenges. Sometimes these kids have to be restrained. Sometimes these kids have to be placed in timeout rooms. That's because their issues were so severe. That's why they were coming to us every day. So that's day treatment. I've also worked in a hospital setting. There is a facility called Laurel Heights Hospital. It's in Midtown. And that's the highest level of care that a child can be in. The children who go to Laurel Heights Hospital, their behaviors or mental health is so severe that it is not safe to others or themselves to be out in the community. So they go to Laurel Heights Hospital, where they live there. They go to school there. There's doctors, there's nurses on staff, there's other staff, and there's clinicians. But they may live there a year and a half, because their issues are really, really very unfortunate. So there's different places that a mental health professional can work. That's really what I'm trying to get across here. Any questions about anything? Here's some interesting statistics about the world, about mental health professionals. There are apparently, according to this source, over 37,000 mental health professionals in the United States. 73% of these professionals are women. Only 26 are men. So I work in a field where I am double my income. African American male, and I'm a male, because there's not a lot of males or therapists. So if I go to a training or a retreat, I already know the majority of people in the room will be females. The average mental health professional is 44. The most common ethnicity for mental health professionals, 74% of therapists are white, followed by African American or Black, but that's a pretty low number. It goes from, it's only 7.9. Hispanic or Latino, same thing, 7.9, and unknown 6.2. And then 15% of all mental health professionals are part of the LGBTQ community. It's really cool because being a male in my field, there's some clients who be like, oh my God, I was looking for a male therapist. I hear that all the time. I wanted a male therapist for my son because his father isn't in his life. Or if I do couples therapy, he refused to see a therapist unless there was a male. I get that all the time. So I always have a full caseload because a lot of people are looking for a male therapist. Now, unfortunately, the problem with the small percentage of minorities who are therapists, you end up getting what's called underrepresentation. And that is when a type of person or thing is underrepresented. And so when it's unrepresentative, you run the risk that some people, this lack of diversity, they may not feel comfortable going to see a therapist because they want somebody who can identify with them. And I get it. So that's just an issue. I don't know how we're going to do to change it unless we get more minorities to become therapists. All right, so let's talk about psychology as it relates to helping people. If you go see a therapist, and maybe some of you have seen a therapist, if they sign a document, if they sign their own clinical notes, because they kind of take notes during a therapy session, they're going to put some letters after their name. Or even if you Google, you know, I need to find a therapist, and you Google it, and you're like, what are these letters right after this person's name on the website? I don't know what they mean. This is what they mean. So when they sign their name, Jane Smith, and at the end of it, you see the letters LPC, that means they are a licensed professional counselor. If at the end of their name, they have LCSW, they're a licensed clinician social worker. When I sign my name on something, I sign it with LMFT, because I'm a what? Marriage and family therapist. That's me. And all this means is that when I was in grad school, the stuff that I studied focused on individual therapy, but it also focused on marriage and family therapy. Counseling, professional counselor did a variety of things, and the social worker focused on therapy, but they focused on other stuff too, like how to help people, like this poor family, find aid so they can feed their kids. And then, okay, going back to the list, psychologists, these are people that have a doctorate of psychology or philosophy. Typically, psychologists, they're the ones, the first three do therapy, and we'll talk about that in a second. Psychologists do a lot of testing. So you might have been in high school or elementary school, and you may have heard somebody say, that child needs a psychological. That means they're gonna go see a psychologist who maybe already in school. They're gonna gather all this information or research on this individual student. And of course we have psychiatrists. Psychiatrists are straight up doctors. That's what they are. They went to med school, just like everybody else, just like the brain surgeon, just like the orthopedic specialist. They just, their area of study that they picked to focus on was psychiatry. And they're the only ones that can prescribe medication. I can't prescribe medication, nor can anybody else, only psychiatrists, or your primary care physician, of course, as well. A lot of therapists are employed as administrators, counselors. It's no big there. Oh, okay. So now, let's get to the roots of psychology. I know you see what's underlined, so I'm gonna give you a chance to write that down. I'll read it real quick too while you're writing it down. We're gonna talk about how psychology began. So the beginning of psychology is considered to have took place in 1879. What happened in 1879? Well, there was a little accidental experiment that took place. It involved that guy's name right there. Really? You write that down, and then I will talk more about the early days. Anyone else need to sign the attendance sheet?
Yeah, and we'll go back to.
Where's the- That's right. I will make sure it circulates. You send one up here too. Send one up here too. I got it. I got it. Stay simple. I got you. Relax. Put your feet up. Okay. There you go. Is there anyone else who needs to sign? So it's important, by the way, when you guys come, please try to sign your condition. This is proof you will hear. Because otherwise, I don't know everybody's names yet, so in case the school officials are like, can you show that Amy was actually in class? Like, well, yes, I have her signature. It was dated. So yeah, she was definitely in class. Oh no, the date's on the sheet. At the top. You just have to decide. Okay, so the beginning of psychology is considered to have begun in 1870. Wait, you know what? Before we get to that, I'm just going to tell you some things. If we go back 7,000 years ago, people thought that if you were acting weird, crazy or something, you demonstrating like you had some sort of psychological problem, people felt that the reason why you were going through stuff was because of some sort of supernatural forces. Like the gods might have been angry with you and that's why you're doing this. Or maybe there's even evil spirits. You might need somebody, some village person to do a spell on you to get that out of you. That's what they thought. If you were, if you go back many, many years, get that evil spirit out. And sometimes they would do weird things to get rid of those.
Isn't that when they started like sodomizing people?
You know, I can't say for certain because I wasn't there. I know I'm older, but I'm not that old. But it wouldn't. I would think they probably did some of everything. When back, I mean, years ago, I mean, many thousands of years ago, the things that they would do to people to try to fix them could be anything. I mean, let me give you an example. Sometimes they would put a hole in somebody's skull. They would literally drill a hole to feel like, well, whatever is in there, it won't do that, and that'll get it out. Or just like in medicine, they would be like, hey, they're sick. Let's attach leeches to their body. People really had no clue. Or they'd mix up a toxin. Here, drink this. Might kill them, but drink it anyway. Like people really didn't know what was going on or how to fix people. So I'm sure somebody might have said, sodomize them. Maybe that'll go. Did you know? I feel bad saying this. I don't know what year. Okay. I consider you all young adults and adults. So we're about to have a mature conversation. Say something really mature. The vibrator, I'm assuming you guys know what I'm talking about, that some women use to make themselves feel good. Originally, that was created for health reasons for women. So a woman would go to a doctor with certain issues, and he would pull out his instrument and insert it to help them with whatever issue they felt they were having. It was originally not made for self-pleasuring. It was made for medicinal purposes. Feel free to check out the history of the vibrator. I'm just telling you. So we just, there's a lot of stuff we just don't know. And so people keep trying stuff and then later on, that doesn't make sense. So, of course, for hundreds of years, people have debated what's causing people to have issues. The beginning of psychology is considered in 1879. All you really need to know is 1879 and that guy right there. His name is Wilhelm Wundt. And he's German, the W is pronounced like he said. Wilhelm Wundt, he was in a small room with his staff at a German university, and they decided to study how the mind works. All they did was conduct this really kind of lame experiment, in my opinion, where they would see how long it took a person to press a telegraph key after they heard a ball bounce. So that lame experiment is like, ooh, the beginning of studying psychology, the beginning of studying how the brain works. So he gets credited for it. Yes, sir. I'm not mad at anybody for trying something to fix it. That was just, unfortunately, a lot of times we're ignorant. There are probably medical things we're doing right now that 15, 20, 30 years from now, we're gonna look back to it. That was stupid. That was making it worse. We don't know stuff. I'm gonna say this now, and I'm gonna say it again throughout the semester. There is far more that we don't know about life, and even about other people. There's far more that we don't know than that which we do know. Far more.
The more you know, the more you don't know.
Exactly. That's wisdom to me. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. We don't know everything about this planet that we're on. We don't know all the creatures that are in the deepest part of the ocean. We don't really know why we dream. There's tons of things we simply don't know. But as humans, we like to think we know. We don't know how old this planet is. We don't know. How can we know how old the universe is? We're a speck in the universe. A tiny, tiny speck. You realize how much just think about that, how much we don't know just about the rest of the universe. So clearly, if people don't know, people didn't know what they were doing, trying to solve people's bodies, physical issues, mental issues. They didn't know. So I don't fault anybody for it. Give it a shot. Maybe this will work. Let's do an exorcism. Maybe this will help the depression. Okay, good luck. Probably won't work, but okay. Now, these are just some people who are no longer alive. These are some early psychologists, pioneers, explorers, some of which we will be talking about later. We just mentioned Wilhelm Wundt. We'll also be talking a little bit about Ivan Pavlov. He did experiments with dogs. You may have heard the term Pavlov's dogs. We're going to be talking about him and his dogs and what he did. And if you're a dog lover, you're going to be like, oh my God, I hate him. He's cruel, but we'll get into that. Jean Piaget did a lot of work with studying children. We're going to be talking about him when we get to developmental psychology. Does anybody know who the heck this guy is?
Sigmund Freud?
Outstanding. Nobody ever gets that answer. Gold star for you.
He's the guy in psychology, isn't he?
He is probably the biggest name in the world of psychology. Dr. Sigmund Freud.
How do you spell it?
We're gonna,
How do you spell his name?
S-I-G-M-O-N-D. I think it's F-R-E-U-D.
S-I-G.
We're gonna get to him. Trust me. We're gonna get a little bit of him maybe today, but later on in the semester, he had a lot of theories that some of which are still believed to this day. And then he had a lot of other theories that you're going to say he needed his own theories. There's also some rumor that he had a drug, I think cocaine problem, but that's I don't think it's a rumor. I think it's a fact. But back then, cocaine wasn't viewed the way it is.
Can I see how his name is spelled?
I think it's, wait, let me see. There it is right there. Sigmund, F-R-E-D, Sigmund Freud. So yeah, we'll definitely be, he's going to come up quite a few times. Wait till we get to some of his really bizarre theories. You're going to be like, what's wrong with him? Okay, now, we're going to get into what's considered the 5 major perspectives. So, what does that mean? That means, since everybody's trying to find all the answers, everybody's trying to figure out why we are the way we are, there's 5 different perspectives that we're going to discuss that attempt to gain some clarity or provide insight as to why we are the way we are, okay? Now, before I share with you their perspectives, I'm just going to share with you my perspectives. I believe we are the way we are for one of 4 reasons. One, and by the way, like I said, feel free to challenge me, you don't have to agree. But I believe one of the reasons we are the way we are is because of the families we grew up in. or what happened to us, well, you know, what the families we grew up in, they play a big role. Our parents, our siblings, they play a big role. So that's one reason we are who we are. The homes we grew up in. Number two, I believe we are who we are because of what has happened to us up until this very moment in time. Everybody in this room has had different life experiences up until this moment. And those things have helped shape or determine who you are right now. Good, bad, or indifferent, they've helped shape you. The third reason I think we are who we are is how you chose to interpret all of those experiences up until now. We have the freedom to choose how we respond or view something that happened to us. There are some people who grew up being abused, and now they're an adult and they deal with depression and PTSD because they feel more, maybe they feel like I've been victimized, and they have. But then there's somebody else who's had the same experiences who said, I'm not gonna allow this to affect me. I'm gonna use it to motivate me to be somebody special. We get to decide how we interpret our life experiences. So that's the third reason why I think we are who we are at this moment in time. Now the fourth reason I believe we are who we are, fortunately, we don't have a lot to say in the matter. We have some say, but not a lot. And that is what we may have inherited from our parents. A lot of things can be inherited. Everything from substance abuse, depression, anxiety, and even physical things. You could be more prone to diabetes because it's in your family. Heart disease. Now, just because it's something's in your family though, that doesn't mean you should just figure, well, I'm gonna get it too. No, it means you should probably try to take measures or precautions so that makes it less likely that you will experience that. If alcoholism runs in your family, you probably shouldn't drink alcohol. Because genetically in your body, you may have a stronger craving. It may be harder for you to resist because it's in your family. If heart disease runs in your family, you may not want to eat at McDonald's every day. You may want to eat some green vegetables, some fruit, get some exercise. So you can fight some of the things that could be inherited. So I don't want you to feel helpless just because something's in your family. So those are my 4 reasons why I think we are the way we are. Now, these researchers have their own methods of determining why we are the way we are. And you don't have to write this down yet, but the 5 major perspectives: neuroscience, cognitive, behavioral, humanistic, and psychodynamic. Now, we're going to break down each one of these, so that's why I said you don't have to write this down here. Once again, these are attempts to figure out why we are the way we are, why we do what we do. The first one, the neuroscience perspective. And while you're writing it down, what is the first part of that word?
Neuroscience.
What do you think neural means? What does neural mean?
Brain.
It means brain. So when you see this question and you're reading, or you see this on the test, just know that neural, are you looking for in the definition? You're just really looking for the word brain. If you see brain, the answer is neural. Okay?
The approach to the abuse behaviors.
If I was a neurosurgeon, I operate on what? The brain. It's neural, it's brain. This is the neuroscience perspective. This is how people who believe in this is how they feel they can determine why you're the way you are. Technically, you don't have to write the whole thing out. Like, if you really just wrote neuroscience perspective, you could is said, you just write down, from the perspective of the brain, nervous system. That'll be enough, like this. So right now, if I gave you guys the test for what we've done, there will be 3 questions. First question would be multiple choice, the definition of psychology. The second question would be, where did psychology begin? That's the Wir behind the blue question. And the third question of the test would be, what is the neuroscience perspective? Those would be 3 questions. Like I said, I'm giving you all the answers. Neuroscience perspective, the approach that views behavior from the perspective of the brain, the nervous system, which is, our brain down our spine, and other biological factors. In other words, people who believe in this, they feel like whatever it is going on with you, that makes you why you are, it's because of what's happening in your brain. That's it. They don't need to see behavior, they don't need to know how you think, they don't need to know how you grew up, none of that. It's all about your brain. That's from the neuroscience perspective. Now this next group, psychodynamic perspective. Just let you write that down. This is linked to Dr. Sigmund Freud. Like I said, we're going to learn a lot about him and his systems, his beliefs.
Let's go.
If you want to write the short version of psychodynamics, you would simply write down behavior is motivated by inner forces and conflicts.
Just motivated.
I'll give you a little preview about Dr. Freud. Dr. Freud kind of feels that we are the way we are, mainly because we're just functioning like animals, just trying to feed our urges to eat, drink, have sex. And so we always have these internal battles and conflicts going on. And it's just a matter of us trying to manage how to deal with the internal conflicts that are going on within us. That's just what he's saying. From his opinion, he also believes that, like, I don't know, if something's wrong with you, probably has to do with, like I said, he's all about the basic human behavior. So he would say it's maybe because of some sexual desire that's not being satisfied. He tied a lot of stuff in with sex, probably. We'll be finding that out too. Just let you know. He tied a lot of stuff in, like he would say we're naturally, remember an earlier question, are we naturally aggressive and selfish? He would say yes, because we're like animals. So we are born naturally aggressive. His perspective specifically says, it's based on the view that behavior is motivated by inner forces and conflicts, which we're not even aware. We have little awareness or control. That is his perspective. Like I said, he says a lot of stuff. He does say some stuff I do, like, that's kind of cool, kind of interesting. When we get into, well, we're going to get into personality stuff and Freud stuff. We're like, okay, that makes sense. You may have heard the term defense mechanisms that we all tend to use. His theories on defense mechanism, I can sign off on that. But mostly everything else, no, I'm not going to. What's another perspective? We got the first 2 down, 3 more. Behavioral perspective. Also, I'm gonna give you a clue too. I'm giving you another helpful study tip for the test. When you see the question on the test, the term, the definition
Right.
is in the term, or the term is in the definition. So, if you're trying to figure out, is that a behavioral perspective? What words should you look for in the definition? You're looking for behavior. You know this is related to the behavioral perspective because of the word behavior. That's why you just look for behavior.
Measure and observe. There's a John Watson.
Yeah, he's John B. Watson, his name may come up again. Him and B.F. Skinner, they're some of the earlier pioneers who follow behavioral perspective. This is the approach that suggests that the focus of trying to understand people or animals, the focus should be on the external behavior, or it should be focused on what are you seeing? Because then it can be, and it needs to be something that can be objectively measured and observed. So for example, at some point, we're gonna see, has anybody ever heard of the Bobo doll experiment? We're gonna talk about it later. Anybody ever heard of that? Does anybody know what a Bobo doll is? It's really old school. Okay, let me describe the Bobo doll. It's these inflatable dolls. It's like an inflatable tube. It's fatter on the bottom, and if you punch it, it comes back up. Yeah, that's called a Bobo doll. So, from the behavioral perspective, I think it was, I don't know if it was Watson or Skinner, and we'll talk about it later too. They did an experiment with Bobo doll where basically they would show little kids, they would let kids see adults beating up a Bobo doll to see how that would affect the kids. So first the kids were watching the adults yelling, talking mean, punching, kicking the Bobo doll. Then they take the adults out, and if the kid comes in the room, guess what the kid does? What do you think the kid ended up doing? He did the same thing. See, that's a study in behavior, because now what they're looking at, they're seeing how behavior, or what's seen influences kids. And it's true. It's true. So the behavioral perspective, they were like, you know what's going on by just watching behavior. That's how you learn. That's how you figure people out. So according to what they did, they could make the assumption and say, you know what? We have a lot of violence in the world because we have so many violent movies and films, TV shows. I don't know who believes that. I think it plays a role. Who thinks the violence on film and television plays a role with the violence in our society? Wow, most of you don't. Interesting. I'm just curious, side note, because I'm a very curious person question. So somebody share with me why you don't think the violence in films and television affects our society and our body, why you don't think it affects it. Okay.
I think generally a lot of violence that you can see in the world is just simply more resource procurement. Like for example, you have two tribes. One side's maybe lacking in water, one side's abundant in water. But there's maybe only enough water to feed one tribe, or to satiate one tribe. One of those two tribes is going to die, either by thirst or in war.
I agree, because now we're talking about for survival. How do you explain, let's say, the violence or the shootings taking place just in an average urban city? Because they're not trying to get, everybody got access to water.
It doesn't explain everything. Like my personal theory is that literally everything in the world affects you psychologically.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. Okay, let me see. Yes.
I think sociologically you can pick and choose what you want to adapt the sort of behavior. So I think that's how it ties to behavioral perspective, whether you choose not to or to do an action.
So for you, a person has a choice to decide if that violent film is going to impact them. Okay, that's very interesting. Anybody? Yes?
Well, you see, I've seen a lot of violent movies like at very young age, and I think everything chalks up to like it being a choice.
Okay.
Because, you can, it's up to you if you want, like, I don't know, like, whether you want that thing to basically take over. Basically.
No, I hear you. I don't disagree. Amy, were you gonna say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, boy, we're gonna get so much deeper into what we're just talking about right now. So it's really tempting to go further in this right now. All I'm gonna say, I'm not disagreeing with anything anybody said, but I will say that America has a lot of crime, a lot of violence, a lot of gun deaths. We have a lot of violent movies and TV shows. We have violent video games too, and I know people, all of that's gonna come up in the future classes. All of us, we're gonna be discussing all of that. I put it this way, I'm just gonna say, when we have a mass shooting, and we always have a mass shooting, I'm not surprised when we have a mass shooting. Every time we have a mass shooting, I go, I wonder when the next one's gonna be. Because there will be another one. There will be. Yes?
I heard a proverb. It was basically a child who is unloved by the village will burn it down to feel its worth.
I can co-sign that. Yes, I would. Yes, that is definitely a possibility. Yes, people who are there's a lot of people not feeling loved in the world right now, apparently, because a lot of people trying to burn the village down. So yeah, it's see, when we get into social psychology, we do have choices. I'm just gonna end it and we're gonna move on. We do have choices. We do have freedoms, but sometimes we are not aware of how things are influencing us. We think, some people might even call it the illusion of free will, the illusion of free choice. You think you're deciding, but in reality, you can't. You think you like Jordans, and you probably do, but there's a reason why. Companies have spent millions in marketing and promoting and giving it to athletes. You wear this. It's all to manipulate you and control you to doing something that they want you to do. I'm just being honest with you. It's what they want you to do. Everybody in this room, I'm pretty sure, has a cell phone, and you spend time on social media. But you also, I'm sure most of you know that there's a certain algorithm where they know what you're watching, and they make sure they do whatever they can to keep that phone in your hand as long as possible. Yes, you do have the freedom to put the phone down. You do have the freedom to cut it off. You do have the freedom to delete apps. But are you? They don't want you to. They want you addicted to the cell phone. And most of us are. So you feel like you have freedom, but do you really? Because you've been made into an addict. By the way, like I said, you don't have to agree with anything I say. Feel free to think for yourself. Critical thinkers. Just saying, most people, even myself, like I literally go, you know what? You've been on YouTube a lot, Frank. You know what? I'm not even making this up. I have a little timer, it's a round timer. And you can just like set it for 5 minutes, 4 minutes. And then you hit the button, you just hit it in the middle, and it counts down. When I feel like I'm on social media or YouTube too much, I literally go, okay, I know I need to do this paperwork. I just want to see something on YouTube real quick. I will set it and be like, okay, 10 minutes. When this buzzer goes off, you got to get off. Because if I don't set it, I fall victim of, I look at one story, and then I go back to the home screen, and that didn't brought something else on the home screen that I think is also interesting. Okay, well, I just look at that, and then I'll go do my work. Okay, now I look at this, and and then before I know it, an hour has gone by, I've been distracted, just like that opening video said, and I haven't been productive. So yes, we do have choices, but they have a way, the powers that be, the people with the money, they have ways of making you think you have a choice, but you're doing what they want you to do. They want you to be consumers. They want you to buy. They want to keep making more money. When they put a new iPhone out, you know what they want you to do? Go buy it. They want to make you think you need to have the latest and the greatest until they do the next one. And then the next one. They don't want you to keep an iPhone forever. You know how difficult it is to repair an iPhone, an older model? They don't want you to repair your older model. They want you to get a new one. I'm just saying. So, all right. So, behavioral perspective. I'll get off my soapbox. The next one is the cognitive perspective. That first word right there, cognitive, I promise you, that word is going to come up for the rest of the semester. Cognitive this, cognitive that. Another way that some people try to explain why we are the way we are. Relationships. That's gonna be fun too. And why we're attracted to people. That's gonna be really interesting. Good females talk about, yeah, he needs to be at least 6 feet tall. I can't be taller than him when we're
Pheromones?
Yeah, we won't get too much into pheromones, but yeah. Unless the pheromones may come into play when we talk about the romantic, we'll get there. Cognitive perspective. The approach that focuses on how people think, how they understand or interpret the world. Whenever you see the word cognitive, it is always about how we think. There's something called cognitive therapy. This therapist I'm going to see, he specializes in cognitive therapy. That means he or she specializes in focusing on how we think and how it may be affecting us negatively or positively. Because we do get to choose. We don't always get to determine what happens to us, but we get to decide how we view that. I kind of alluded to that earlier. Some people try something and they quote unquote fail. I don't really believe in the word failure. That's just me. I don't believe in the word failure. It feels too negative to me. So if I try something, I go, it didn't turn out the way I wanted to, or it wasn't successful, but you will not hear me say I failed. Failure is not a part of my definition. It's not in my vocabulary. So, but some person may feel like, well, I tried indoor rock climbing once, it didn't work out, I failed, so I'm not gonna try again. That's their thought. That's about thinking. Now, the therapist may want to help them change that and say, well, you know what, maybe you need to try again. Because most people, when you start something new, you're not good at it. Not the first time. Not usually. I can promise you, as somebody who, for example, does martial arts, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you have no experience with wrestling or ground fighting, because that's what those of you don't know, Jiu-Jitsu is like a self-defense art, but it's a lot of it is learning how to fight when the fight goes to the ground. If you have no experience fighting on the ground, and you fight somebody who does, then you have no chance. Zero. I really mean that. Unless you have a weapon. You have no chance. If you never wrestled in high school, you never wrestled with your friends, you get into a fight with an experienced jiu-jitsu person, you're going to be choked unconscious or you're going to have a broken limb in about 60 seconds. And I'm not exaggerating.
You're generous.
But no one starts out the first day that good. So, cognitive perspective. They try to understand people by how you are thinking, how you are choosing to think, for better or for worse. Is it what you're thinking helping you, or is it hurting you? It's probably doing one or the other. Thinking negatively, which some of us tend to do, and some of you probably do it more than others. Thinking negatively is not going to help you. It's not. It's not going to help you personally. It's not going to help you achieve a goal. It's not going to serve you at all, thinking negatively. Almost done.
Humanistic point of view.
Humanistic, exactly. Humanistic perspective. Humanistic perspective. This is a nice, to me, this is a feel-good perspective. I kind of like this perspective.
Just individuals.
But I kind of like it. It's a feel-good perspective. Bless you, bless you.
Gesundheit.
Speaking some German now, huh? Yeah, this is the feel-good perspective. This perspective earlier when I was asking you guys questions when we started the class, like who thinks, you know, this perspective kind of feels like we all just want to be good people.
Their lives and behavior.
We all want to be the best person we can be. Yes, sir. It sure is. Site 1010. What is your name? Think you're here early? Yeah, you are here early. But, I mean, are here early. I'll let you hang out this time. Got you good spot. Okay. Humanistic perspective. This suggests that individuals naturally strive to grow, to develop, to be in control of our lives and behaviors. This perspective talks about free will, like we're free to choose the person we want to be. And so from their perspective, it's about supporting somebody to grow and develop. Because they're the ones, remember that question earlier when we started class? They're the ones who believe that we're all striving to be the best we can be. Now, who agreed? Who said we're all striving to be the best we can be? Nobody said we're striving. So you guys think we're not striving to be the best we can be? What do you think? What do you think?
I think it like depends on the person. I think sometimes.
Yeah, a few more minutes. You're for psychology?
No, I'm here for.
How are you here for psychology? You're here for
No, I was here for English. Oh, this was psych.
Oh, this is psych, yes. 11:30.
Okay.
All right. All right. So you guys don't think we're all striving to be the best version of ourselves? Somebody, what were you about to say?
I think that like you can make an active decision to try and do that, but like not everybody necessarily makes that active decision, you know?
So, do you think most of your classmates are planning or striving to get the best grades they can?
I think a lot of people, probably myself included, just are trying to pass, especially since we're in tech school, right? We're trying to do another major. Most people here aren't going to be.
I love your honesty. I appreciate your honesty. Okay, so some people just trying to get the grade and get through. That's fair. And so therefore, you may not give this class, or someone like you may not give this class your all.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna like try and fail.
Right. But you know, that's fair, because I think as humans, there are times where we prioritize things. And so therefore, there's certain things we make a greater effort or put more energy into than others. Just like even if you're dating, you might be dating more than one person at the same time. There's one person you might like a little bit more. You're going to make a greater effort to impress that person because you like them more, and you hope that this is the one that works out. So that's fair. That's fair. So yes, there is definitely a chance that everybody is not striving. But this is the way they're gonna approach it and try to figure out how to support growth and development. Okay, let me see something. Let me stay here. Okay, so we're going to save that for next time, but we're gonna pick up with it last. So a couple of things. Now, on Tuesday, we're gonna watch a short film,
Okay.
20-minute film. And it's gonna allow us to use these perspectives to examine some of the key characters in this short film. I love this film. I love it. It's inspirational, it's even a little emotional, just being honest with you, but it will allow us to apply these different perspectives and to help us become more familiar. Now, also, part of your grade is based on some in-class stuff. So, you'll want to be here Tuesday because there will be a very quick in-class activity. You'll have to write your name on your paper, turn it in. So, there's only going to be 5 for the semester. One of the 5 is Tuesday. So just make sure you try to be here. Also, as a reminder, for those of you who came late, make sure you do the no-show assignment. It needs to be done by Monday, 25th. And chapter 1 quiz is due September 2nd.
Understood, sir. I already
If
did.
there's no further questions, you guys have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you on Thursday.